What if I told you the biggest mystery in Star Wars wasn't a hidden Sith Lord or a secret planet, but a prophecy the franchise in itself can't explain? For over 40 years, Star Wars has built its entire story around ancient prophecies, mysterious characters, and cosmic forces. But the deeper you look, the more contradictions you'll find. A chosen one whose destiny may not be fulfilled, a Sith Lord who somehow returned from death, a Jedi who might have survived a fall that should have him killed, and a species so mysterious that even George Lucas refused to explain it. Today, we're breaking down the biggest unsolved mysteries in Star Wars history and everything we actually know about them. But before we jump in, make sure to like the video, subscribe, and comment your favorite Star Wars theory below. Let's start with a prophecy that may have been misunderstood from the very beginning. At the center of the entire Skywalker saga is a singular prophecy. It predicts that a being born of no father will bring balance to the Force and destroy the Sith. Anakin Skywalker seemed to fulfill every part of it. He was conceived without a father. He had an unprecedented midichlorian count. And according to George Lucas himself, Anakin ultimately fulfilled the prophecy by killing Emperor Palpatine in Return of the Jedi. Case closed. Except it wasn't, because decades later, the rise of Skywalker revealed that Palpatine somehow survived. If the Sith returned, then Anakin didn't actually destroy them, which raises a disturbing possibility. But what if the Jedi misunderstood the prophecy completely? In Revenge of the Sith, Yoda even mourns a prophecy misread could have been. Some fans believe the prophecy was fulfilled through the entire Skywalker bloodline, not just Anakin. Others believe balance in the Force was never meant to be permanent. And after more than 20 years of the conflicting explanations, nobody actually knows the truth. But that confusion leads directly to the next mystery. Because if Anakin fulfilled the prophecy by killing Palpatine, how did Palpatine come back? Somehow, Palpatine returned. That single line instantly became one of the most mocked moments in Star Wars history, because the film never actually explained how the Emperor survived. Later, canon tried to fill the gap. We now know Palpatine used a technique called the essence transfer, moving his consciousness into a cloned body on the hidden world of Exegol. The Sith Eternal cult maintained his decaying form, while secret cloning experiments attempted to create a stable host. Shows like The Mandalorian and The Bad Batch even revealed a secret program called Project Necromancer, focused on cloning Force-sensitive bodies. But there's still a huge problem. None of this explains how his consciousness survived the explosion of the Death Star in the first place. Did he transfer his spirit before he died, during the explosion, or somehow after? No official source has ever answered that question. And until it does, Palpatine's return remains one of the most confusing moments in the entire saga. But strangely, it might not be the only character who survived an impossible fall. In Revenge of the Sith, Jedi Master Mace Windu nearly defeats Palpatine, but everything changes when Anakin intervenes. Windu's hand is cut off, but Palpatine blasts him with Force lightning. and the Jedi Master is thrown from a window thousands of feet above Coruscant. We watch him fall, screaming into the night, but here's the strange part. We never see him hit the ground. And in Star Wars, nobody often means no death. Darth Maul survived being cut in half. Luke survived a massive fall in Cloud City. Even Palpatine survived a reactor shaft explosion. So why couldn't Windu survive? Samuel L. Jackson has actually pushed this idea for years, saying even George Lucas was open to the possibility. But if Windu did survive, where was he during the original trilogy? Why didn't he help the rebellion? And why hasn't he appeared anywhere since? Until Lucasfilm answers those questions, the fate of one of the Jedi Order's greatest warriors remains completely unknown. But the next mystery might even be bigger, because it involves a Sith Lord who barely exists in canon, yet may have started everything. You've probably heard the story. Did you ever hear the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise? According to Palpatine, Plagueis was a Sith Lord who could create life and even prevent death. Those abilities connect directly to two of the biggest mysteries in Star Wars: Anakin's birth and Palpatine's resurrection. But the strange part is that almost nothing about Plagueis has been confirmed in canon. We now know he was a Mun. We know he was Palpatine's master. And we know he experimented with manipulating life through the Force. But the full story was originally told in a novel released in 2012, when Disney reset Star Wars continuity. The novel became non-canon, which means a definitive explanation for Plagueis' life technically no longer exists. So the most important Sith Lord in Star Wars history might also be the one we understand the least. And that brings us to one of the oldest mysteries in the entire franchise. Yoda lived for 900 years. He trained Jedi for centuries, sat on the Jedi Council, and became one of the most powerful Force users in galactic history. Yet after nearly 50 years of Star Wars, we still don't know what species he is. Only 3 members have ever appeared on screen: Yoda, Yaddle, and Grogu. George Lucas deliberately kept their origins secret, reportedly forbidding Lucasfilm from revealing their species. And the little information we do have makes the mystery even stranger. Every known member of the species is extraordinarily powerful in the Source. Grogu is already demonstrating abilities most Jedis take years to learn. Yoda could lift starships with his mind, and yet no one knows where their species come from, or where their homeworld is. They simply appear in the galaxy, incredibly rare and incredibly powerful, which has led some fans to believe they might not be normal species at all. Some theories suggest they could be living manifestations of the Force in itself. And speaking of mysterious origins, we still don't know the truth behind the birth of the most important character in the saga. When Qui-Gon first meets Anakin's mother, Shmi Skywalker, he asks a simple question: who was the father? Her answer changes everything, because there was no father. Anakin Skywalker was conceived without one. But But the question of how that happens remains one of Star Wars' biggest mysteries. There are three possible explanations. The first one is divine intervention. The Force itself created Anakin to restore balance. The second possibility comes from Palpatine's story about Darth Plagueis, suggesting Sith experiments may have created Anakin. And the third theory is even stranger. Some comics imply the Force created Anakin as a reaction to Sith's manipulation. In other words, the dark side tried to control life, and the Force pushed back. Three explanations, all contradictory and non-confirmed. Which means the birth of the Chosen One, the event that triggered the entire Skywalker saga, might never be fully explained. Star Wars has always thrived in mystery. Some questions are meant to be answered. Others might be better left unknown. But from the Chosen One prophecy to Palpatine's resurrection to the origins of Yoda's species, the galaxy far, far away is still filled with secrets. And those secrets are part of what keeps the story alive. If you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, and comment which Star Wars mystery you think most interesting for you. And if you want to dive in deeper into the hidden lore of the galaxy, check out the next video on the screen now. And may the Force be with you.